Happy Wednesday, folks. I'm Will, and we're here to have an imperfect conversation about work. But before I bring our guests back up onto stage, I can't bring them back up onto stage because you'll be meeting them for the first time, but I was backstage with them having a wonderful conversation. So Jen and Jess host their own broadcast. And to set this up a little bit, let me tell you how we met. As a LinkedIn enthusiast, I've been posting and commenting in other folks' posts, and I really just gravitated towards Jen, right, Jen? I think we were the link, and then Jen introduced me to Jessie, who is coming back. I see him pop up on the screen. He's a busy man. He's traveling in a car somewhere, so hopefully his reception stays with us. But this show today is about the conversations, Imperfect Conversations. And if you follow Jen and Jess with what they do, they are in the construction industry. So the idea that this guy from New York City, sometimes Rio de Janeiro, is like besties, if you will, with folks in the construction industry, and they're both located in Texas, it's, to me, speaks to the power of this virtual world. And like attracts like. Our energies are wonderful. I really do believe that Jen and Jess will have their own network show someday, especially Jessie. He's just that kind of guy. So I'm going to bring them both up. We'll get the conversation started. I want you to meet them, and let's have that imperfect conversation. So Jen, you come up first.
Okay. Hello.
Hey, Jen, introduce yourself, and I'm bringing Jessie, and hopefully he's stable enough. And while you introduce yourselves, I'll say hello to the folks in the comments.
Okay, that sounds great. So hopefully he stays on screen. He does a habit of jumping off when to make me have to talk. So I am Jennifer Lacy, and I co-host No BS with Jen and Jess with Jessie, who is on the screen with us. We also co-authored a book together. We'll probably talk about that today. And I am the lean practice leader for Robins Morton, who is a construction company that focuses on healthcare.
And Jessie, who are you?
Good morning or afternoon, depending on what part of the world we're on, maybe even evening. I am a salsa dancing, podcasting, book writing, construction professional. And like Jen said, we did co-author a book. She is a magnificent trader, if you don't already know. And we have our live stream, No BS with Jen.
Now, I don't know if Jessie just cut out on me. He kind of froze with his puckered lips, but he's also a river rafter, and he's famous on Instagram. So if you don't follow Jessie, follow him on Instagram as well, because he has some extras there.
Yeah, we try to keep them separate because they're a little bit more. They show a little bit more of Jessie than we sometimes.
And so while Jessie is puckered up for us all to see here, Jen, why don't you talk a little bit about how you guys got started, right?
Okay.
I know you through No BS with Jen and Jess. How did you guys become brave enough to just do your own show? Like, what was the catalyst for that?
Well, I think we go back a little bit because there's a story on how we met, which I feel Jessie does a way better job on. So I'll let him do that when he hops back on. But he had some letters that came from a failed relationship that he had, I guess, tried to work through. And those letters led, I guess, him to reach out to me, and we decided to do some live streams talking about how to apply 5S, which is a lean tool, to personal relationships. And so we started that conversation, and so we did like live streams. It was about a little over a year ago. We started doing live streams just on that specific topic.
Because I know you and then somehow was probably invited to the live stream. Can you explain what is your title in particular? Jessie seems like he's playing with some controls there. Do you hear a little crackling in the background?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds like he's typing or something. So tell us, what does that mean? Lean. Explain that. That. I know that's the title of your book, and there will be people watching that probably don't understand that.
Absolutely. So lean in the construction industry, because that's the experience that I have, and where Jessie and I kind of connected is It is kind of an approach that you look at something for elimination of waste, being more efficient. How does it flow? How do you create better flow? And how do you respect people? And looking at all of those in an industry, construction, that traditionally does not focus on those things. It's very bottom line, outcome driven. You know, how can you get to that end date? And it doesn't matter who gets hurt and how many people have to sacrifice, all those things to get there. That's kind of traditional construction. And so what lean construction does is it really focuses the core of it is respecting people. And so we know people are who produce those outcomes. And so then looking at how do we eliminate waste? How do we make things better? And that's kind of what led to the conversations that Jessie and I did that led to the book. Was 5S is a lean tool. And it is a way for you to create a more efficient workspace, clean, kind of making sure that everything has a place. Is there extra stuff that doesn't need to be there? So it's a tool that you use in manufacturing or in construction. And Jessie had someone in a previous relationship that took that tool, because we talk about lean being a lifestyle. It's not just you go through the gate of construction and you apply lean and then you walk out of the gate and then you have this life that you live. So lean is a lifestyle because you can apply it in a lot of different ways. And so she took that tool and actually applied it to personal relationships. And how do you go through and sort and get rid of clutter and get rid of things that maybe are not good, and then create something that is going to work for both parties, and then shine it. So kind of make it shiny, make it look, do the things that are going to help elevate it. And then how do you standardize that and sustain it? That's a tool that was applied to personal relationships. So we did live streams on it. And then the live streams led to a book that we wrote. And the live streams are really what started the platform, like what made us realize that people want to listen to things that we have to say and we want to talk about.
That's wonderful, because what you do, right? But I know very little about the construction industry. I think we spoke in the green room. I don't even think I own a hammer, right? I know what certain tools are, but I rely on other people. So the chances that, different industries, right, come together in the physical world, that wouldn't happen so much. But this virtual world, I think, has opened it up, because as different worlds that we come from and cities and whatnot, the humanity, the empathy, the compassion we want to put into work is the same.
Yes.
It's completely the same. And you guys do such a great job of talking about that. Now, right, being in the arts and culture world here in New York City, it is about art and feeling. It's people, it's tourism, and it's people, and service. But your industry in construction, that's not known as the warm and fuzzies. And I'm pretty sure my brother's not watching. So I love my brother to death, but I don't think people would call him fuzzy. So it's not an industry that's known for that. And when I watch your show, I just am so impressed by the way the conversation flows and the engagement in the comments to talk about issues that people don't speak of. So while we're waiting for Jessie to do, he I know what he's doing here, Jen. He's just trying to do the pop up, like, hey, look at me. We know him. We know his tricks.
Yes.
So the piece that I love the most is, how do you, right? Hey, maybe I'm going too far with this, but you're a female in a construction industry, right? Yes. And all of the prejudice that or the preconceived notions that I have. So you're a female in the industry. You're a kind human being. You and Jess are uberly kind and human. How do you break through something that's probably not in the DNA of an industry?
Well, I think it starts, and I'm going to own this full transparency, is I lived a long time with imposter syndrome. So I lived with, even if I was working hard, working extra, did all the things, checked all the boxes, I still didn't feel that I had the credentials to be able to go and instruct people and talk to people and lead people and coach people. And like, it was in the back of my head, even though it was happening. And I just am one of those people that people gravitate to, they want to be around. And so everything was doing what should have been done, but it was a lot of me and having to like stop and do some self-reflection, and also have people around me that go, stop doing that, because it's not the way it is.
Right.
But in this industry, it's just because of the way it's been, we have to have women that are going to be able to come into it and understand that it may get a little uncomfortable. Like, and it's not because someone's not treating them right, but because they're in an environment where traditionally, like, women were the secretaries. I'm just going to say women were the secretaries. And now we have amazing women. Like, I mean, I can't even list them all, but like, Christy Powell and Cabry and people that are in this industry, and they're like rock stars and they're killing it. And that's the direction we're going. Like, it's now people are in there and they're doing it and they're proving it. And that's the thing that Jessie says, idea to action, like coming up with something and saying you want to do it and then getting it done. And I'm telling you, these women are getting it done. And so a lot of it is just showing up and doing the work. And people are starting to recognize that. And as these generations are kind of, some are going out, some are coming in, like the generations right now that are really rampant in construction, are the ones that are like, you can't tell them, here's the box, you have to stay in it. It's like here's the parameters. Oh yeah, that's great, but here's what I want to do.
I think it's wonderful, and thank you for that. I just think it's wonderful to watch industries and the workplace change. Jessie, are you stable? Are you stable, Jessie?
We shall see. I promise I'm not driving.
Okay, that's good. Podcasting and driving should not mix, right? You should stay on the side of the road, so you should not be driving, Jessie. Safety first. So I wanted to bring up a question that Mikkel from Austria, you have a worldwide audience here, Jen and Jess. Let me see if I can find the question. So Mikkel, hello, my friend. I believe you speak to this in your lives, how to stop the downward spiral, challenging conversations. So that's the question. You guys touch upon things that I think you're brave. You talk about all sorts of challenges, depression, and serious things like suicide rates and things like that. How do you have those serious conversations in such a way, because your personalities are so warm and inviting and bubbly, and we have a frozen Jessie there again, smiling. There he goes. How do you have those conversations? Because you do it so brilliantly. It can be awkward for so many. How do you do it?
Well, I think for us, and it was real clear early when we connected. And so that chemistry of the two of us just being able to, get real with each other and not, kind of skate around and, I don't want to talk about this, but really being willing to get vulnerable. I think that was the key for us, because when we started the lives, our goal was, we got to make sure we don't get too touchy feely, because we're talking to construction people, because those are the people that follow us. Yep. They're going to get completely turned off. We've got to make sure, like, we talk about the work stuff. We can talk about the other stuff too, but we have to make sure we talk about the work stuff. And what we found after the first live stream was all the comments, all the shares were all about the stuff not work related. Right. So it was divorce, and it was, like self, care, all those
raising
things.
Children, and the
and that was like and we had to stop and we had to go, wait a minute, what is going on here? And it kept going, and the conversations kept going, finally to the point to where we started looking at it and realized that it was people in our space, construction space, superintendents, people that they're tough and they're egos and they're cowboys and whatever. And they're
we can do this
vulnerable stuff. And it's not just like one or two, it's all the major construction companies in the country. Their people were jumping in because now there's this space for them to do it.
I just applaud you for what you do. I think we have Jessie back, and our good friend Steve Martin. Are you stable, Jessie? There's a fun conversation starter. Are you stable, Jessie?
Well, I know I am not stable, but I hope my Wi-Fi connection is stable.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying. Thank you for clarifying. Jen's doing great without you, but I know you know that about her. She would be able to hold the show no matter what the technical difficulties are. So, okay,
Yes.
now let's talk about, I love how we had a conversation about how you started the show, how you come together and you talk about difficult topics in a world. And there's Jessie. I don't know if you can mute yourself, Jessie, but you are tinkling away there on some sort of keyboard. Okay. So, okay, the platform of doing the show. So you
Yes.
do the show, you have difficult conversations, you're working with these burly guys who don't normally want to talk about these things, right? I totally get it. I mean, and you don't have to be a burly guy to not want to talk about some of those softer things.
Right.
You decide to write a book. I have it in my mind, I'm writing a book in the year 2023. How do you go about doing it? I'm so curious. How did you guys get started?
Well, I'm going to give Jessie all the credit for this. So again, I won't take it, but I'll talk through the process. So we did live streams on the topics last fall, and we got done. And then we had someone, Kirby, who at the end was like, hey, I think it would be great to have all of like the big takeaways summarized up. And so, and I think it was, and then we had some other people commenting about different things. And finally, Jessie's like, oh, well, I have all the transcripts of all the lives. So that's easy. And then that started the conversation on, well, we have one person asking for takeaways. Wouldn't there be value in us doing something with that? And then Jessie said, well, we're just going to write a book. Are you okay with that, Jennifer? Do you want your name on it? And I'm like, sure, I'll do that with you. And so it was December a year ago, as he said, hey, we're going to do this. And then we published the English Teachers Edition in July. So it was a pretty quick turnaround. We were able to take the transcripts, and then we did a lot of editing and a lot of cringy conversations with Jessie because he doesn't care about the editing part, and I do. And so we had to kind of work through that.
That's why you're such a great team together. That's why you're such a great
but
team.
I did all the illustrations in the book. I did all of those, and so it's a really fun kind of short clips. It's not big paragraphs, because we were catering it to a group of people that don't probably do a lot of reading. And so we thought, well, let's set it up. Our editor did an amazing job of setting it up almost like social media, where it's photos and clips and quotes and things like that. And that's it was intentional to be able to pull people in.
I love, and is it the right way to say it? I love the workbook style of it. I think that there's just something that it isn't like, oh, I need to save an afternoon, or it's going to be because our attention spans as humans, despite the industry you're in, it grows shorter and shorter and shorter all the time. So information, images, what was okay 2 years ago now seems like it's lengthy.
Yes.
Right? I love that you're being able to publish something and do something that is based on something you've actually done.
Yes.
I love that you're able to take the transcript and put it in some sort of format that can be used. We
had to do a lot of, if you don't know if you've ever done it, but when you transcript something that you've done like this with us today, there's a whole lot of extra crap in there that you don't realize when you all of a sudden have to start editing it. So
you mean like Jessie's clicking wherever Jessie may be, right? All those kinds of things get picked up from artificial intelligence, and then you have to really decide what it is that you're going to do with it. I see from the chat here, folks are saying we froze. So Jen, I don't know about you, but we're putting that all on Jessie.
Okay.
Yeah, no, his technical stuff. He interrupted the algorithm or something, and
that's normal.
Yeah, exactly. We have so many friends in common here. We've got Joseph, we've got Michelle, we've got David Hanson. So here we go.
That's been the magic, though. That's been the magic one on just you and I connecting because of I feel like our spaces sometimes collide, and it was David, it was Michelle, it was Cindy. There's just so many people that it's cool because I'll see it in my feed because you've commented on it, or it'll be something that I'm in and I'm like, oh, I got to bring Will into this conversation. And it's like there's so much of that going on. Again, we got on today for the first time face to face, and it was like, oh, holy crap, we've never talked in face to face.
Yeah, today was our first one-on-one, but I honestly feel like I've known you for a very long time.
Yes.
And I only remember you, Jen, through I mean, through the sharing of the posts and commenting, but I always know you through the show. So I didn't realize it's only been a year, which is
Yes.
really, really great.
Which is the world seems like it's blown up on LinkedIn in the last year with just the
Yeah, no, it's really, really incredible. So tell me, okay, I don't know if we're ever going to get Jessie back, right?
Probably
He'll
not.
just have to watch the replay and you'll have to tell him all about it on your next show. I don't know. Do you have one this weekend?
We
Yeah.
do have one on Saturday morning at 8 Central. Yes.
So make sure Steve Martin comes up on stage and asks the stability
Yes,
question.
we will have
Yeah, it'll be such a fun way to start it. So I want to ask the folks that are watching, and I apologize if there's on and off connectivity issues, but I see here that I think Leslie, she just wrote that
Yes.
she too's been experiencing issues with lives for more than a week. So maybe there is something, you know. Let's blame the election cycle.
Yes,
It has
always.
something to do with the election and the internet and the stability. Let's go there. But we're not getting into politics.
Okay, no.
Let's see. I see our dear friend Helen from Israel. She's talking about lots of testosterone in me. I've lost the thread there. Maybe that happened. That happened in the hiccup with the technology. So I see people are connecting. Thank you
Nice.
for
That's
connecting.
awesome.
This is a great
That's the
community
magic.
here. We've got Joseph, who always brings the boom. He's just incredible, and he's saying hey to Joa, who's a wonderful, wonderful person. So we've got lots of people. Why don't you speak up? So I'm not sure who that's directed at, Mikkel, but if you can clear that up, let me know. Now, okay, I'm going to try to get myself oriented here.
Okay.
We've got about 8 minutes left. I don't know if we're getting Jessie back. Tell me, I love asking this question. Why do you do what you do? Like, how did you get into the industry that you are in? Right? I can tell you my story, but I'm always so curious. How on earth did you, get into the construction industry? Was it by accident?
It honestly was. So before I was in construction, I was a teacher and a coach. And so, surprise, surprise. And so, and then my dad, I grew up with a single father and he was a teacher my whole life. And I thought, okay, this is what I want to do. I loved it. There was nothing that I didn't love more than connecting and being there to really connect to people and the kids and stuff. But like after like 4 years, I was like, I had taken every class, done everything I possibly could, was helping with professional development. And I'm just like, I need more than this. And I didn't know what it was. And so I left there having no job and having no idea what I wanted to do. And then applied for a position with a construction company that was opening an office in Texas. And I ended up getting a position that after 19 years of being with them, I'm now doing stuff that my college degree was in with operations management. It's the craziest thing. It's like come full circle. And now I'm getting to do things that I studied when I was in high school, when I was in college.
And I love, and one of the things that I drew me into you talk a lot about your dad and how much he's part of you, even though he's not in the physical realm. Right. And I just love hearing stories like that and how we get to carry on that legacy. And I'm sure he's smiling down at you and so, so proud. And I know that you're such a great mom and you're just a person that exudes so much energy, light, love. And it's an honor to know you.
Well, thank you. But I think a lot of the big piece of it, and it goes back to the stuff Jessie and I do, is we're all human. And I think that, and it's a huge piece of what you talk about, but I don't say that just because of that. It's something that what I do, even my work and what I do, like I'm in a room sometimes with people that have never interacted with each other. And there's a good chance we're going to have issues. We're going to have compleints. We're going to have to overcome some crap that is going
wherever there's humans, that's going to happen.
Right. Right. And so the best way that I try to start that conversation with all those people in the room is what makes you human. And the conversations are about, I have kids, I have this, I have to take care of my sick parent. Like all of a sudden, they're not just this person across the table that caused some issue, but now they're like a real person. And like, that's all of us.
Right. We put it all aside. By the way, as I'm going through the comments here, Helen clarified the testosterone. It's about when she was in the industry and herself, so she can relate to your story. Jesse's moved to the audience. He's just given up being on stage. He's just done. He's watching in the audience. Hey, Jess, send us a note or send us a question. We love you dearly. And then I'm seeing the. Oh, here he is. He popped up. Jennifer loves dancing in the spotlight. This was his gift. And I see Adam Hoots is putting in there fake news. There's all sorts of stuff that's going on. I think Jesse's going to get a ton of fun from your little pod.
Oh,
really,
yes.
Really. So now I want to ask you, okay, you do what you do, your school and your career, things have kind of lined up. I think of the reason I named my company Aspiring Better Human, because we're never done. Like, you aspire to be an actor, a dancer, a lawyer, but no, I'm always wanting to be better. And you can't say that you're done being a better human, right? So you have to constantly work at that. So you've achieved much, you've done much. What is the Jen, maybe you could speak for Jess, what is the thing that you see that you want to do next, right? Podcast, publishing a book, living out a dream. What's next?
So I'm gonna speak, and I'm gonna use Jesse's words just because they're way better than mine. But the way that he says it, and the way that he presents it, is he is trying to help people find the promise that they're intended to be. And so, again, those aren't even my words because he's amazing, but it's like, that's what he tries. That's what his goal is. That's what he's trying to do. And believe it or not, there's a lot of humans out there and a lot of people out there that if that's your goal and that's what you're trying to do, is to help people become the promise they're intended to be. I mean, we're never gonna, get to a point to where we don't have any more work to do.
I love the way that's done. And just imagine if each of us took that personally. I see Jesse's popped up in the backstage. Jessie, you're going to be removed and put back if you start clicking again, okay? We'll bring you. Okay, there you go. But I'll finish that thought. But I just love the idea of, if each of us in our industries, our cities, our languages, our countries, our communities, our buildings, if we just took that and just said, we're just going to be a better version of who we were, we're going to be kind, and we're going to be just decent to one another, imagine how much can happen. And I know that might sound silly, or some people would put it down, but I really do believe in that. And the power of what we've been able to do as a friendship here and support one another speaks to that.
Yes.
So we're going to give Jessie, we're almost at time. It's 2 minutes. We'll turn the mic over to you. What words of wisdom would you like to share with folks here today? And keep it on a serious note, because I think what you do through fun, you do some serious stuff. So what do you want people to know about you guys?
Yeah, so I did catch the back end of what Jennifer just said, and introducing people to the promise they're intended to be is my mission. I do goof around a lot, but I am dead serious about getting people from 0 to 1. Because like Jennifer said, we're all human. We all have insecurities. We all have fears. We all have concerns. And sometimes we just need a little help to give ourselves permission to be the enormous human being that we can in service to others. And so that's what's underneath everything else. On the outside, I know it looks like a crazy, super sexy dancer with fishnets on all the time. But for real, I want to serve people, and I want to help people take that one step. All it is one little step. And that little bit of risk, and start experiencing like it's not as bad as we made it out to be.
Right.
And ultimately, when it's in service to others, it can't go wrong. That's it.
No, beautifully said. Jess. Really, really. I am seeking to find more people like the two of you. And the joking that's here, for me, you've heard me talk about my core values. It's connecting, it's laughter, it's learning, it's sharing, it's all of those things. And that is what I want to use my platform for. And you do it in a different way. So I just absolutely, positively believe in our hearts that we each of us has a movement. There are many people in the comments here, and you'll scroll through them later, that we're all different people, different personality types, different backgrounds. But if you have that as your core, I don't know about you, Jess, but in my family and the way I grew up, the way you demonstrated love and affection and care was through humor. And I think that's what drew me to you, because I don't see it. I honestly don't see it as silly or I don't know, or sexy. I know you want to be silly and sexy, but what I see it as human.
Mhm.
Our humor. There he goes. He just couldn't take the comment, or he's going to go backstage and do something we just don't want to know. Oh, please, please, please. I really can't wait for your show on Saturday to see how your team is going to tease them.
Oh, yes. We will make sure of that.
But getting serious again, here we've got a comment from Steve. Trying to help others achieve the promise they were intended to be. Boom. All the joking, all the funniness that we do. You guys are just super awesome. It's a privilege to know you, and I really am hoping that everybody here is going to connect
Yes,
with you.
please.
Yeah, if they don't connect with you already. I put down here at the bottom of the screen, because I know we're at time.
Yes.
You can find Jen and Jess on LinkedIn. You have a company page.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
No, and it's, if you look at the bottom of the screen, no BS with Jen and Jess.
Mhm.
You're every Saturday or every other Saturday?
Every other Saturday, and we have one this Saturday coming up.
This one, Saturday coming up. Your book is on Amazon,
Yes.
right? So people can find your book.
Lean
And the
in
name
Love.
of your book?
Lean in Love. And if you just type Lean in Love, it's a gray and black cover. I mean, it's pretty easy to find it.
I think you're getting a customer here. Philip would love to be interviewed either by me or by you.
Probably you.
How about all of us? We just do a group show. We'll do a
Yes.
gigantic Zoom call. That would be fun.
That would
And we
be.
just have
That
to
would
figure
be.
out how to do it. Like our core community. When I think about all the folks
Oh my
here
gosh.
and how global it is, it would be fun. It would be fun to
We got to
figure
figure that out.
Zoom holiday party.
Yes. Oh, that would be awesome.
I'm leaving Adam and Steve in charge.
That's a great idea.
Ability.
Yes.
How about that?
I think that's a great idea.
They will make sure that his Wi-Fi is stable and he can join us properly.
Yes.
Well, it's already past the half an hour.
Yes.
Let's see any other comments. Michelle, she's a big supporter of everything you do.
Yes.
Jen, you know that.
Yes.
That is what life is all about, having fun and loving what you do with kindred spirits who encourage and lift you up. Yes. Absolutely, Michelle. And we've got a call later today, so I can't wait for that call.
Awesome.
And let's see a couple of goodbyes. We got to get Steve up on the screen.
Yes.
So no BS with Jen and Jess. Hashtag just show up.
That is our big thing. Just show up.
And Adam is saying, please don't leave me in charge. I think he probably fears the wardrobe. I'm absolutely sure he fears the wardrobe. But hey, if it makes us laugh and he brings fun, that's fine. And Helen in Israel wants to know who's bringing the wine.
Yes.
I think it's going to be a bring your own event. How about that?
That's
bring
fine.
your own, whatever you vibe with. Okay, Jen, thank you for joining me today. Thanks for the 4 or 5 times Jessie popped in and out and clicked on his keyboard, whatever he did. I thought that was lots of fun.
Yes.
So we'll have to do a redo. So season two is going to be rebranded. Wednesday with Will is going to be Will in Brazil. So
nice.
yes, so I will be moving my production from North America to South America, and I reboot in January.
Okay, we'll have to get back on and make sure Jesse's in a stable place.
Yes, and Adams already doesn't want to, does not want any of the responsibility of that. You and I can probably handle
Yes, we'll figure it out.
And everybody who's watched with all the technical difficulties, I hope you
Yes.
at least enjoyed some of what we were doing here today and got some benefit out of it. And Jen, I know you've got to get out of that hotel room before they book you for another day. I appreciate you racing through the streets of Florida.
Yes, Tallahassee.
Yes, racing through Tallahassee to get to the hotel to be here. I thank you, and I know Jess is back in the audience. He's eating popcorn or something. And everybody, you are awesome. I just love this community. And Jen, I don't really think I would be here doing this sort of thing had I not started tuning into shows like yours. So I thank you so much.
We are better together, for sure.
We are better together. And I'll leave it at that. Bye, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.
Bye.
And part 2 of this conversation will be in the new year.
Yes.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.